A former Davenport city administrator says the fatal Davenport building collapse was preventable. That's in a recent court filing in one of half a dozen lawsuits filed by people impacted by the collapse. Craig Malin was city administrator for 14 years until 2015. News 8's Jenna Webster explains why he blames the city's organizational changes and a lack of transparency.
Former Davenport City Administrator Craig Malin is now an expert witness in one of the lawsuits filed by tenants of 324 Main Street against building owner Andrew Wold in the city of Davenport. In a sworn affidavit, Malin writes, "The loss of life, injury, and loss of property by residents of the Davenport was preventable had city staff acted upon information they possessed with authority and resources the city had at its disposal." He says the city knew about issues and had the power to evacuate the building and secure the site. Malin calls the collapse predictable, saying it was so predictable that when first notified by text on May 28, 2023 by City Administrator Corey Spiegel, "Sounds like part of 324 Main collapsed." Mayor Matson responded, "324? Is that the red wall?" correctly deducing the exact wall that had collapsed. He goes on to outline what he says are deficiencies in the qualifications of individuals appointed or hired in leadership roles in the city of Davenport since June 2015. Malin argues that City Administrator Corey Spiegel did not meet the experience level needed for her position. He also argues she replaced the city's department heads with less experienced people. He says she moved rental inspections under the control of a new neighborhood services department. That director reports to the assistant city administrator and the public works director. Malin writes, "These organizational and personnel changes are such that there appears to be no civil or structural engineer or public safety professional in the chain of command of rental inspections in a city with over 15,000 rental housing units." Malin further claims that Spiegel is less transparent. She no longer posted responses to all public records requests online or incoming and outgoing emails to the city administrator. He says if those emails had been posted, people would have been able to see that a meeting was requested in April about structural issues at 324 Main Street. Malin points to documents later released by the city after the collapse, saying they show the city of Davenport had extensive knowledge across multiple departments of the extreme public hazard the Davenport presented. He says those departments had a duty to notify Spiegel of the danger so she could direct the structure be secured and residents vacated. Despite the city issuing 2 notices to vacate, there are no documents from the city that those notices were posted at the building or that tenants were notified of structural issues known to the city. Malin writes, quote, "That lockdown city hall was across the street from the Davenport, with the buckling and brick shedding west wall in full view from windows in the office of the city administrator." In Davenport, Jenna Webster, WQAD News 8.
Now, we reached out to Spiegel about some of these claims and received an email from the assistant city attorney. He says she will fully and completely ascertain Mr. Malin's competency to offer such opinion through court proceedings. Now, Malin was the city's longest tenured city administrator. He stepped down in 2015 as part of a separation agreement with city council. It came after the then mayor called on him to resign, accusing him of withholding information about a deal to bring Rhythm City Casino to land.